Greenland, the world's largest island, is a fascinating and complex land that offers a unique blend of natural beauty, harsh climates, rich cultural traditions, and evolving political identity. Though geographically part of North America, Greenland is politically and historically tied to Europe, particularly Denmark. This Arctic land, largely covered by ice, is often perceived as remote and desolate, yet it holds immense strategic, environmental, and cultural significance in the modern world. Geography and climate. Greenland spans over 2.16 million square kilometers, 836,000 square miles, making it the largest island on Earth that is not a continent. Approximately 80% of its surface is covered by the Greenland ice sheet, which contains about 7% of the world's fresh water. If all of Greenland's ice were to melt, global sea levels would rise by over 7 meters, 23 feet, highlighting its critical role in climate regulation. The island's terrain is rugged and mountainous along its coasts, while the interior is dominated by the massive ice sheet. Fjords, glaciers, and towering icebergs characterize the coastal landscape, particularly in areas like Disko Bay and Scoresby Sund, the world's largest fjord system. Greenland's climate varies from Arctic in the north to subarctic in the south, where the summers can be relatively mild. The coastal regions experience average temperatures in July that range from 5 degrees Celsius 41 degrees Fahrenheit in the north to around 10 degrees Celsius 50 degrees Fahrenheit in the south. Winters, however, are extremely cold, with average temperatures well below freezing and frequent snowstorms, especially in inland areas. Population and culture. Greenland has a small population of around 56,000 people, most of whom live along the southwestern coast, where the climate is slightly more temperate. The capital, Nuuk, is the largest city, with around 19,000 inhabitants. Other significant towns include Sisimiut, Ilulissat, and Qeqertaq. The population is predominantly Inuit, Kalaaleq, with a smaller proportion of Danish and other European residents. The blending of Inuit and Danish cultures has shaped modern Greenlandic identity, influencing language, food, art, and governance. The primary language spoken is Greenlandic, Kalaallisut, an Inuit language, although Danish is also widely used, particularly in official contexts and higher education. English is increasingly taught in schools and spoken by the younger generation. Traditional Greenlandic culture is deeply connected to nature, hunting, and storytelling. For centuries, the Inuit survived by hunting seals, whales, walruses, and fishing, using kayaks, sleds, and harpoons. While modern conveniences have altered lifestyles, many Greenlanders still value these traditions, especially in smaller settlements. Greenlandic art often features motifs from mythology and nature, and traditional drum dancing and throat singing are being revived as cultural heritage practices. Political status and government. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. While it has its own parliament, Inatsisartut, and controls most domestic affairs including education, health, and natural resources, Denmark retains authority over foreign policy, defense, and monetary matters. Greenland was granted home rule in 1979, and further autonomy was achieved in 2009 through the Self-Government Act. This act recognized the Greenlandic people as a distinct people under international law and laid the groundwork for a potential future independence referendum. There is a strong independence movement in Greenland, fueled by the desire for cultural preservation, self-determination, and control over natural resources. However, full independence remains a complex issue due to economic dependency on Danish subsidies and challenges related to infrastructure, healthcare, and governance capacity. Economy. Greenland's economy is relatively small and heavily reliant on fishing and fish exports, which account for over 90% of its exports, primarily shrimp and halibut. The country also receives significant annual subsidies from Denmark, which contribute to the public sector and services. There is growing interest in mining and natural resources, including rare earth elements, uranium, and precious metals. The melting ice sheet has made some of these resources more accessible, raising both environmental concerns and hopes for economic development. Tourism is another growing sector, with visitors drawn to Greenland's pristine Arctic landscapes, northern lights, icebergs, and adventure activities like dog sledding, kayaking, and glacier hiking. However, the tourism infrastructure is limited and often expensive, partly due to Greenland's remote location and harsh weather conditions. Environment and climate change. Greenland is one of the places most vulnerable to climate change. The Greenland ice sheet is melting at an accelerating rate, contributing significantly to global sea level rise. Satellite observations have shown that Greenland has lost over 4 trillion tons of ice in the past few decades. This rapid change is affecting not only the global environment but also the local ecosystems and communities. Thinning ice affects traditional hunting routes, while warmer temperatures alter wildlife patterns. On the other hand, some Greenlanders see climate change as an opportunity, opening up land for agriculture and making mineral resources more accessible. Environmental protection and sustainable development are key topics in Greenlandic politics and public discourse. The government has worked to balance economic growth with conservation efforts, particularly in regard to fishing practices and tourism. Strategic and global significance. Greenland holds strategic geopolitical importance due to its location between North America and Europe, within the Arctic Circle. It is home to Thule Air Base, a U.S. military installation and key site for missile warning and space surveillance systems. As the Arctic becomes more navigable due to melting sea ice, Greenland's strategic value is increasing, both militarily and economically. Several countries, including the United States, China, and Russia, have shown interest in Greenland's resources and position, prompting discussions about sovereignty, security, and international cooperation. Conclusion. Greenland is a land of extremes, immense in size, sparsely populated, rich in tradition, and facing immense environmental challenges. It is at the intersection of indigenous heritage and modern governance, balancing cultural identity with the pursuit of economic development and political autonomy. As climate change reshapes its environment and global interest in the Arctic grows, Greenland finds itself increasingly at the forefront of international attention. Whether it eventually becomes a fully independent nation or continues its close relationship with Denmark, Greenland's future will undoubtedly play a key role in the evolving narrative of the Arctic and the world at large.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.